Hi everybody, this is Gary Fong, and this is the RX10ii. This surprisingly is kind of a sleeper. It came out around the same time as the RX100 and the really big news was the A7R. But I was just spent 3 days with my friends at Sony Imaging and got to play with this one, and this guy was really a favorite of mine for many reasons. Let me tell you what the reasons are. This is a $1,300 camera and it has 20.2 megapixels. It also has a built-in Zeiss lens that is a 24 to 200 f2.8, which is kind of an engineering feat when you think about it, because how are they able to put so much lens into such a small thing? It has, I'll pull it out to telephoto so you can see as it pulls out. That is 200 millimeter fixed at f2.8. Now, you know, my 70 to 200 2.8 is quite a big, long piece of white glass, whereas this guy right here is small. And so you might wonder, well, how are they able to do such a technological marvel? And the way they were able to do that is simply because it is a 1-inch sensor, which is quite a bit smaller than even APS-C. The lenses are not interchangeable, so what do you lose in this type of a lens construction would be a little bit of depth of field, and that is kind of really helped out by the fact that it's being shot at f2.8. What we're going to do is we're going to take some prime lenses out with full frame sensors, shoot them at f2.8 at the same focal length, so we can show you what the difference is between full frame and small sensor. A small sensor used to mean a lot of ISO noise, but that's different now because this, as well as the other new Sony cameras, has what's called a back sensor illumination, which means that they've taken the order of the construction of the sensor from photodiode to wiring down to the sensor into now putting the wiring behind everything. And another thing I'd like to add about this is that it shoots at 1/32,000th of a second. This is something that's 4 times faster than any of the other cameras. And the way they were able to do that is to use copper wiring behind the sensor, which clears out the data out of the sensor much, much faster than it used to. Because it's able to move data so fast, this also has a really cool ultra slow motion in all the way up to 960 frames per second. So the way that works is we'll just go here under the settings and we'll go on the top here, there's a thing called high frame rate. And high frame rate, that's this right now, is the way this works is very interesting. And it's something completely brand new. And you'll see in the little window it says shooting standby. This is completely different than any other type of photography you've ever seen before. What happens when I set this up is that if I hit shooting standby, I'm hitting the center button and it says preparing. What preparing means is that it's now actually listening. So whatever happens here is being recorded, but nothing's being written to the drive yet until something happens, and then I will then hit record. Very, very interesting. In other words, you press the button after something happens. So if you're shooting a championship fight or something like that and someone gets knocked out, as soon as that person hits the floor, that's when you press the record button. It's very interesting. So Katie, I'm going to have you just clap your hands twice with bigger motion. Go. Okay, and then now I'm going to hit record. So what's going to happen now, and you can see here in the screen, is that it is recording what just happened. And so you can, it actually will show you while it's recording. And this right here, I believe it's at 960 frames per second, which is fast enough to actually show a paintball bullet hitting one of my friends in the chest. And I did a lot of demonstration samples with high frame rate, ultra slow motion. This is at 960 frames per second. I think it's like 40x slow motion, which is something that's completely fun to do. And also, this camera does native 4K up to half an hour. This is something that was previously unavailable, even all the way up until the A7S. Couldn't do 4K native. You would have to put a recording box on top of it. So for that reason, it is really a very serious video camera. It also has sound in, and it also has a hot shoe that enables it to take XLR balanced mic sound in. Another thing for videographers that's really super fun is you can change the aperture from clicky to non-clicky. Now, being able to do that, so this right here is still mode, and oh, let me get it out of high frame rate so you can kind of see. I'll put it on manual so you can kind of see. Okay, so I'll just zoom in just a touch. So I've got manual or motorized zoom. So right here, I can put it on clicky, and if you listen, you can hear and see the aperture change. I'm on ISO auto. Ooh, I'm actually on +2 there. Let's just go ahead and take that down a little bit. But I'm on ISO auto. So you're seeing that the exposure doesn't change. Now, I'm going to put it on ISO manual so that you can see how the exposure is going to change, but in a smooth way. So we'll put it on, say, ISO 160. Now watch. I'm going to take this switch that's built in to the lens and turn the click off. And here, I'm going to just move the wheel. No sound. And I'm changing the aperture. This is a feature that I've only seen before in the very expensive 24 to 135 f4 cinema lens that we use with the full frames. So with the ability to do high ISO, and we're going to show you some tests on how high this ISO goes, but it's rated all the way up to, way up here to 12,800. And we'll show you how that goes. Now, this is something that would not have been previously available in a 1-inch sensor. So I want to reiterate that this is a 1-inch sensor, and it is quite a bit smaller than APS and quite a bit even more smaller than the full frame. But having said that, the only thing that you're going to lose would be, of course, depth of field and the possibility of ISO noise, which has been reversed by the back illuminated sensor. What you gain is a tiny, relatively tiny camera, and I'm going to show you a camera even smaller than that, which would be the RX100 and the ability to have a 24 to 200 millimeter f2.8 lens all in one package, and with XLR sound input, smooth aperture dial, the ability to shoot very sophisticated 4K video in different XAVC-S packages, and you've got yourself quite a camera. All the other features that are really cool about the Sonys are, of course, here, like eye autofocus and things like that. So, $1,300, this thing outperforms a whole lot of cameras, and really would be my choice in just kind of an overall camera that I would use on a daily basis. This or the RX100.